Oh, hello. Hi. Hey, this is John from the Maine, and you're listening to the Rock Sound Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Rock Sound Podcast. I'm Will Cross. Tamsin, you're back.
I am back. I am alive and I am kicking and I might cough. So if I do, I apologise, but I will try and keep all illness under control.
That is okay. Well, good to have you back. Yeah, I've also had what Tamsin's had, so it's going to be a bit of an ill podcast.
So, if you come across either of us in the street anytime soon, stay far away.
Yes, and Jack Rogers, hello.
Hello, Will. I'm not ill.
So that's so quick.
Yeah, but I'm just letting people know. Disclaimer:
Wow.
I mean, it'll come. So
exactly.
I'm
good week?
doing great. Yeah, I'm really happy Tamsin's back. I've really missed her. It's been.
It's gonna make me cry. Happy Valentine's Day, Jack.
What a start. Oh, God.
Love you.
Sing along roulette, Jack. So, of course, we introduced this properly last week. I'm going to throw a song at Jack, and he's squirming already. I'm going to get a bit of a theme this week to one of our guests. Dear Maria by All Time Low.
Oh, sick. Sure, then. I got your picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria, count me in. There's a story at the bottom of this bottle, and I'm the pen. Where the lights go out.
This could go on for the entire song if you wanted.
Last week you were like, oh, I'm not giving you any more, and this week you're like, straight in.
I mean, like, it's
Dear Maria.
It's 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's like 4 a.m.
Although you did miss out the best bit, which I can quite happily give if need be.
Yeah.
Love it. Good stuff. So last week we had Lower Atlantis Mike Juice, Foster Manus Henry Cox, and our new band spotlight with The Fame, our current Rock Sound lead breakout stars. Really, really cool. It was a kind of Lower Atlantis UK club tour that's coming up, special in some respects in that all bands are on the bill. Really, really interesting stuff. Check that out. Follow us on SoundCloud, subscribe to us on iTunes, and check out some extra little bits on our website, rocksound.tv. But this week we've got the return of our very special new podcast feature, Always the Quiet Ones. Last month we had our debut with Waterparks' Otto Wood, which was hugely popular, one of our most popular interviews I think we've run on this podcast to date, and we saw a few shouts for our next guest, so we've only gone and got Zack Merrick from All Time Low. A little hint there of Dear Maria, which he brings up, we have a chat about. Really, really cool to get Zack on. Obviously Zack doesn't do many interviews, so it was really interesting to kind of get to know him a bit more, get to hear his perspective on things with, within such a vibrant and interesting band. And we also speak to Mallory Knox's now frontman, Sam Douglas, following the shock news this week that original frontman Mikey Chapman has left the band. So that's hot off the press. I spoke to Sam literally within the announcement coming out, maybe like an hour within its release. So he wasn't holding back. He told me literally everything. So stay tuned. It's going to be a damn good show. Tamsin.
Festival announcement time. Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco will headline this year's Reading and Leeds Festival with appearances from Waterparks, Beartooth, Sum 41, Under Oath, Creeper, Nothing Nowhere, and so many more to be announced. Stoked for that. 21 Pilots Goner has been certified gold, selling 500,000 copies digitally. The news follows Blurry Face being certified 3 times multi-platinum at 3 million copies last March. Wow.
Mad.
Legends.
Andrew of the Ghost Inside's new project, One Decade, has released its debut EP, Coma Visions. You can listen to it online. An online campaign, Let's Make Some Noise, has been launched by Linkin Park Live and Linkin Park ambassadors to get Mike Shinoda to do a solo tour. And ex-Panic at the Disco drummer Spencer Smith is now working in an official role with Pete Wentz at DCD2 Records. Go to rocksound.tv to see some amazing photos.
Yes, do that. So interview 1, always the quiet ones. So as I say, last month we had Otto, which went down amazingly well. Found out all sorts of things about Otto Wood, and he was really up for it, which was awesome. So, yeah, we listened to what you guys were saying out there about our future guests, and we've gone and got Zack from All Time Low. So it's really, really cool to catch up with him on things like, you know, what bands got him into music, you know, his passion for skateboarding, his particular favourite All Time Low song, and just kind of like his take on kind of being bold and, you know, that band doing so many interesting and versatile things across their career. Because, you know, I've said to him, like, they've now got this amazing catalogue of songs, essentially. So, yeah, just really cool to kind of get to know Zack and hear all his takes and everything. So, here he is, Zack Merrick, in our new podcast feature, Always the Quiet Ones. Here we go. How did you get into music in the first place? Like, what was the moment when you were a kid that you were like, oh man, like, this is for me kind of thing?
My buddy, one of my best friends growing up, I was about 10. We would hang out every day together, and he'd play guitar. And I would just go over and I'd watch him. And one day I was like, he was like, you should probably play bass and we could play together. And he was like, it's a great idea. And that was kind of the moment I was like, I started saving my money to buy a bass. And about 10 or 11. So
in terms of kind of like pick up the bass then, were there any particular bands that kind of like inspired you to really go for it kind of thing? Or like, was there one band in particular? Like, was there anyone like that?
Yeah, definitely Foo Fighters was one of them.
Nice.
Because that's all we would listen to. That's actually one of the first songs I ever learned was a Foo Fighters song.
Oh, amazing. What is it about the Foo Fighters? It was so anthemic and just so like, it just kind of grabbed you like the first time you ever heard them kind of thing.
Yeah, when I heard Monkey Ranch, I was kind of, I mean, you know that song. You know, especially at that time too, and that's probably the late 90s at that time. So, you know, as a kid, when you hear something like that, when you're used to hearing all those boy bands and stuff like that, back then, and then you hear the Foo Fighters, you're kind of like, yeah, I'd rather listen to that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what did you think of the pop stuff growing up? Like, were you into it at all, or was it just kind of like, were you just kind of like, oh man, you know, I want something a bit more like, bit more hard hitting?
I think as like a younger child, yeah, I was more into it. But then it seems like with Foo Fighters and Incubus, Make Yourself, and Science, and Nirvana, and all that stuff, I kind of quickly shifted and became an avid listener of rock music and punk rock and punk music.
Amazing. So cool. I mean, I guess then, so I know you guys all met at high school, and obviously I know that the band had kind of started and it was sort of like a covers band when you came into the fold. So what was it like kind of meeting the other guys for the first time? Like, did you guys meet each other very early on?
Yeah, we met right before going into high school. So I think it was 14, 15 maybe. And I think it was like right at the end of the year for 8th grade. And my buddy, we had AIM. You remember that? That was like a big thing in my middle school, high school days. And I got a message saying that there's a group of guys that needed a bass player in a band, and that I was going to get a message from one of the guys, and his name was Jack. And Jack's very exuberant. He's always been that way his whole life. So I'm low key, quiet. I'm getting these messages from this guy. He's like, I heard you play in a band. You should come try out for us. And you should do this. And I'm like, all right, cool. Very good. He's like, what do you like to listen to? He's like playing 20 questions with me. And I'm like, I'll just come over and play.
So Jack was always very full on then from the get go.
Yeah, he was. He was very full on from the get go, for sure.
Brilliant. And then meeting Alex and Ryan as well, were they kind of, because I know obviously all four of you guys are quite different characters, you know, and I mean, like, what was it like meeting those two as well? Like, was that, I guess that would have been quite different again.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. I just went over and it was more like, hey, do you know how to play this song? And I was like, yeah. And if I didn't, I could learn it real fast. And also, they also saw that I played with my fingers, and they were like, you should play with a pick. And I was like, nah, I'm good. and then I played, they're like, okay, never mind.
So, I mean, when the band kind of like got going then, and obviously, you know, the first Warp Tour and everything like that, how was that like? Because I mean, I've watched, you know, interviews from that time with you guys and kind of live performances, and like it looked absolutely crazy. Like, how was it for you kind of in that period?
Oh, it was awesome. I was still skateboarding a lot too. So, and I was when Warped had like all the skateboarding stuff. So I was having a blast because we were playing music and we were, you know, hustling CDs as much as possible, but then I just sneak away for 2 hours to escape the mini ramp. And then eventually I started getting yelled at. They didn't want me to get hurt.
Amazing. So is skateboarding's is skateboarding still quite a real passion of yours as well?
Yeah, I tend to just be mellow and roll around, but I still have my zero. I'm staring at it right now. My zero up here, and I cruise around. I was gonna try and do it today, but it's actually raining right here. So.
Oh man. So then, so was that kind of those early Warped Tours then? So it was a lot of skating and just kind of like having fun and hanging out then.
Oh yeah, but also like trying to push the band. I remember we were trying to sell CDs, and if we could sell 300 a day, that was like a huge deal. And some days you couldn't, but there are a couple times where we could do it, and it was such a milestone to sell 300 CDs because no one really knew who you were in the first place. And on top of that, you're helping build the stage so you can actually play.
Definitely, yeah, no, amazing. So when that started to really pick up then, I mean, obviously you guys started doing so well, that must have been such an amazing feeling, I guess.
Oh yeah, especially like you could see the momentum. It wasn't like overnight where some people just blow up, but it was such a gradual like growth. But it happened, pretty quickly. So you could see it and you could feel it. And that was like a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, as well, especially now, kind of into the future, you guys have got such a diverse, interesting catalogue of music, and I mean, like, how for you, like, how's it been, kind of applying different styles, and playing around with different sort of genres and different types of music, and kind of fitting all that into the All Time Low sound? Has that been a really fun process over the years?
Oh yeah, it's been fun. I mean, they usually let me kind of do whatever and experiment around. I'm going to be all right. But it's fun to just get in there and just try different sounds and see what works. And sometimes it's not necessarily what you want to make it sound like, but what actually makes the song sound better. So that's a fine line, especially going from a kid to an adult too with music and playing and things like that. You have to learn, especially for bass playing, you have to learn when to play and when not to play. That's like a big thing in bass playing. Just because you're really good doesn't mean you can just be run the whole song. It'll make it sound terrible.
Yeah, definitely. No, because it's been especially on last year, like Young Renegade as well. Where you've it's a real kind of leap for the band. And I mean, how was that? How was kind of playing around with especially that kind of the bass in that kind of like pop sort of pop template? Like, how was that? That must have been quite an unusual, interesting environment.
It was just. I think it was just more experimental. I don't think it was anything unusual, but it was just more like creating sounds and finding sounds that you wouldn't use or you wouldn't even think you could find out of pedals and things like that. Or All Time Low's usually just been, plug a distortion and, let's go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of that, I guess, then, because obviously, obviously then you've got like Don't Panic, Future Hearts, all these different albums. Like, is there a particular, I know it's quite a hard question, but is there a particular song or an album that you're particularly proud of, especially, I guess, from your kind of point of view? Is there one that really stands out to you as you look back over your entire career?
I would say for me, Dear Maria, because that was a song, like, we were all sitting in the basement, and I came in with like a little riff. It was just a nice. I remember we all were like, "That song's a jam." I mean, this is like so early in our career, so I always look back to that. It's fun to remember that moment. It's like we're proud of a lot of things, where we've played and things like that, our records. But for me, that's that song, I think, really defines us as a band. And I always look back to that and actually have the plaque on the wall I'm staring at right now.
Amazing. So cool. Because I mean, yeah, especially like with that song as well. I mean, like doing the So Wrong It's Right show. Obviously, you did the shows in Jersey and last year, and you've got the UK run coming up as well. And I've spoken to Alex about it. Are you? Has it been really exciting to kind of? Obviously, I know you played Dear Maria a lot in general, but has it been really fun to kind of revisit that era as well and that particular set of songs?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it kind of takes you back because the crowd in New Jersey reminded you of that old school Warped Tour.
Oh,
so
cool.
it was kind of like we started playing and we were like, "Holy shit!" Like, we weren't expecting the crowd to be like this, but it was just mental.
Amazing, yeah. Because Alex said something interesting. Actually, he was saying that that Hollywood You Turn Me On at the time, people on message boards were kind of going, "Oh, you know, this is a pop song or whatever," you know. And now that's the song that's kind of Circle Pits are erupts into and stuff when you played those shows.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't make sense, but then again, the best things in life don't make sense. So, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, I guess kind of growing up as well, you know, so we chatted about the Foo Fighters and that sort of thing. Like, were there any sort of particular other bands that you kind of really took influence from? Like, were you kind of, because obviously I know that you guys, you know, you loved Blink and that sort of thing. Were you into the kind of pop punk stuff as well, or were you kind of more into the rockier side of things?
I was kind of into a little bit of everything. I mean, Incubus, Third Eye Blind,
Nice.
like a really big one for me. And it still is. Trying to think who else. Definitely Foo Fighters. Blink-182 was huge. And Green Day for sure. That was a big one. Especially.
Amazing,
That
yeah.
was probably one of the other first bands I really got into for listening and playing bass as well.
Oh man, so cool. Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant shouts. With Green Day as well, you know, I mean, is that kind of a similar thing in that, you know, the songwriting was is so amazing, and, you know, especially kind of like you guys in a way that, like, you know, every album has offered something different and something really sort of interesting and individual. Is that something you've taken inspiration from, especially when it's come to writing?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you look at Green Day's albums, and of course, Dookie, you know, is always going to be, you know, one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yep.
Then you start looking at like Warning and things like that, which are a different kind of direction. And I think at the time too, everyone was like, "What is this?" But it actually was. It's just, you know, a little off the beaten path, but then still that record did really well, and people still. I mean, I still listen to it. But then you get to like American Idiot, things like that, which kind of really like revamp them again. But that was a huge political direction. So they never really, they had their Green Day sound, but they also have been trying to, you know, focus on new different sounds as they go and what they believe in and things like that. So.
Definitely, yeah. Because I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, Warning. It's interesting. I mean, because I mean, that's sort of like, I remember at the time that was very divisive for Green Day fans. Yeah, no, I mean, has that been quite inspiring as well? In that, especially when it's come to, you know, taking risks, you know, with the band sound and that sort of thing. You know, like you guys have done with every album and kind of taken new steps. Has it been inspiring in that respect? In that, you know, Warning was an album that they did that with too, and it still stands up. Like we're both saying now, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost like sometimes people don't get things right off the bat. So it might take some time. It's like a movie where, like, it didn't do well because it came out in theaters and no one really knew about it, or it just got, like, a weird review. But then it can become, like, an instant classic later on, where it's like, wow, why didn't we really think this back then? It's like, it's just sometimes things are ahead of their time, things like that. And same with artists, too, sometimes. Unfortunately, when they pass away, sometimes they get more famous. Wow, I really should listen to this.
Yeah.
So, because I think at the time, people want to hear what they want to hear, actually in front of them. So time is always a good thing for that too.
Yeah, 100%. No, I totally agree. I mean, I guess to kind of finish up then, I mean, is there a particular, like, have you got a kind of favorite album or like a particular kind of record in general that gives you kind of more inspiration than any other? Is there one that really stands out?
I would say for me, I'd have to go Out of Vein by Third Eye Blind.
Oh man, what a shout.
So, I mean, I remember listening to that and I was like, holy crap.
I remember sort of where the first time I heard Don't Panic actually by you guys. And I remember hearing kind of Third Eye Elements. So I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, because that album for them was like a little more pop punk in sort of a way. Yeah, because it wasn't quite as 90s. It didn't have that 90s feel. It was a little more upbeat and it had just a lot of quicker tempos compared to their last records.
Definitely, yeah. No, it's such a good album. Oh man, what a shout! I guess then, just to finish, then I guess like with the UK run coming up, and obviously we've chatted about the So Wrong It's Right sets that you're doing everything, and obviously I spoke to Alex before, and he was saying that there's going to be a really kind of cool main set as well. I mean, how are you feeling about the UK run coming up? Is it a particularly exciting time?
No, I'm super excited. I mean, I work out all day at home anyway, so I think I'll be fine when it comes to playing that long. But no, it's going to be super fun to do it in the UK. I know people do 10-year shows and just stick to the US. We got the opportunity to think about doing it over in the UK, and we were like, I think people would go crazy for that because I feel like it's going to be like it's two completely different shows. Mm. So, but I think the fans too, it's going to be split too, because they're going to have people that really want to see one, and people that really want to see the other one. So you're going to have different vibes for each show.
So Tamsin, throw us out to you first. What do you make of Zack?
He seems like a nice guy, doesn't he?
He's really nice.
I think not to big us up or anything, but I think these interviews are a really cool idea because particularly with All Time Low, you do automatic kind of think of Alex and Jack. They're kind of the key players. They're the guys who always do interviews. They always do press. Like they're particularly Jack. Jack is the joker of the band. We know that. So it's really nice to have the opportunity to speak to the ones who don't usually get involved with that side of things and just see where their influences came from and stuff. And also, like literally every band is mentioning Third Eye Blind in their interviews.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Not that it's a bad thing, but literally everyone loves Third Eye Blind, so we might have to do like a special or something.
Oh, well, I would be...
don't dangle the bait. Don't dangle it in front of Will.
It will end up me getting fired, but yes, I want to do it.
But we'll go with it anyway. But yeah, I love just like hearing the stories about, Jack just messaging him on the old chat days and just being like, what do you listen to? Do you want to play bass in our band? Please play bass in our band, because you can picture him doing that now, like not just when he was like 14 or whatever. So I think it's really nice to just kind of see how organically All Time Low kind of came together and the little like backstories behind them.
Yeah. You saying that did make me think, because when Zack was telling the story about how he met Jack and stuff, I was picturing it as the band as they are now.
Growing up Jack and Alex, being like, grown men. So you want to be in the band? You want to be in the band? Come be in the band with us. Do you want to play some songs?
Yeah, like just poking his head and just like, why don't we play my bass?
Be in the band. Be in the band, Zack.
Yeah, not like teenagers as they were.
And Zack's just there, just like lifting weights in the background.
I'm so glad that he talked about working out. Like Zack Merrick is ripped. Like he's. Like, his arms are huge.
Well, he said he works out all day.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, like, it's a good way of going. Like, usually that's kind of like a drummer's routine. But it's like, if a bassist is going for it, like, there's some thick strings to smash.
What's going on? Well, Ryan's quite ripped as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, next time we'll talk about Ryan's work.
Ryan has very much blossomed. That is what I shall put into this podcast.
Oh God, but yeah. Just talking to Zack as well about. I love how when I asked him, because sometimes when you ask people in bands what their favourite song or album that their band has done, is that it can be quite difficult for them because obviously they're proud of so many things, and obviously Zack is as well. But I loved it that he just went straight to Dear Maria. Like it feels like he has so much love for that song.
Yeah, I feel as though that.
How can you not?
Well,
but imagine it's the same way, like when like Brendan's sick of playing Sins after like so many years. That like he can be so honest about saying, like one of the songs which everyone knows about is our favourite. And I think it's different when you listen to it loads compared to every night when you're playing it. Like it's kind of the sign of a good song as well, that if after playing it every night for the past 10 years you still love it as much as when you wrote it, like there's got to be something in there. Like it's there's a reason it's such a banger.
Yeah. and like his love for Green Day as well. And I just, because I mean, I think there is a real comparison between the way Green Day have evolved and the way that All Time Low have as well. And I think, you know, for the fact that he singled out Warning, you know, which is originally when it came out, people weren't. I mean, it was a massively divisive record for that band. So the fact that he kind of points that out, and you know, with time, that album's really blossomed as well. You know, and like now it's kind of how he approaches some of the things that they've done as a band. I think that was really, really cool as well. I think it just kind of all these different things just kind of gave little kind of indicators into Zack as a person, you know.
Yeah, it's what we've always said, that like doing this, it does show you a different side of that person. Like it wouldn't work if we didn't learn something from this, and like we've learned a lot. I forgot what I was going to say. Just get going. No.
It is nice to kind of hear, you know, from the quiet ones, as you know, you kind of put it, but to just kind of, you know, the fact that he adores skateboarding and stuff like little things like that you wouldn't necessarily know just by looking at him, or you kind of make guesses on what people in bands are going to be like, and you can be so completely wrong. So it is really cool to just kind of find out, you know, whether he is just working out all day, or, you know, living the dream in Hawaii as well. Like,
yeah, I mean, I bet it's rubbish.
Yeah, it's rubbish working out in Hawaii all day.
No, I found the thing about skateboarding as well, though, that like the fact that he was having to squeeze in and stop himself from being told off for skateboarding so much on a tour which originates from skateboarding. Like, just don't be doing that thing which we told you to do. You're doing it too much. Like there's enough skateboarding for today's act. Like, go and
stop showing off.
Yeah.
Go and slap some strings.
Yeah.
You're showing up all these bands. They've been trying to skateboard to get on here, and you just come in and do everything and make them look bad.
That's a perfect place to end. Big shout out to Zack. Really, really interested. It's awesome to get to know him a little bit more. Awesome stuff. So, Jack.
Hiya. So, we've got another question that we asked you, and you replied with some smashing answers. That this week is, what's the greatest length that you've gone to see a band? And that could mean either like distance, it could mean like the amount of like lies you had to tell to get out of school, which was usually my kind of go-to. Like, to begin with, I remember the days when like you couldn't drive and you had to get your mum and dad to take you everywhere. And I always remember that for me, it was to go and see Elliot Minor. Do you remember the...
I remember Elliot Minor well.
Yeah, Parallel Worlds.
They were playing in Lincoln, and it was like a military operation to go from like finishing school to getting out my school uniform to finding a place to put that, to then getting the train to Lincoln, to then getting picked up at the end, all for like something which you take for granted now. Where it's just like it was full on like plan weeks before. Right, we drop a uniform off here, we put in this bush. Like, oh, I'll leave me tie at school and I'll pick you up in the morning. Like, it was mad. And but compared to that, like, some people have gone.
People get on planes.
People are going.
Not just trains. I'm the same. Like, you know, I used to maybe bunk off college a little bit early. Sorry, Mum, to go and queue for Paramore down in Portsmouth, which was 2 hours away. But like that compared to some of these.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I did that. I did the Wonder Years like 10-year anniversary tour, which was to America. But like even that's just like 7 hours. Some of these, let's listen
delve in.
to this. So, Shah Eat World, she flew from England to Norway to see Architects, and then to Sweden to see North Lane, and to Spain to see Twin Atlantic, and she's also very familiar with the night bus from France to England to see a whole lot of bands. Does that bus go underwater? How does a bus from France to
I'm guessing it goes through the Channel Tunnel.
Yeah, it goes, yeah.
Okay. No worries.
Just cruises on top of the water.
Yeah. No.
It's like the Harry Potter bus.
Yeah, but I was
and it takes like 20 minutes and you're there.
But I'm gonna see.
Yeah.
Every day is a school day. Zark_A flew from Finland to Tokyo to see Baby Metal live at the Tokyo Dome in 16.
That's mega.
The 2 back-to-back shows were absolutely amazing. They flew there again last September for their double shows at the SSA Arena in Tokyo, and he met lots of great people on those trips.
I think that's one of the best things about, like, if you're committed to doing trips like this, like the people you will meet along the way.
Well, I mean,
other
good
fans and
characters,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's, you hope you meet nice people
Yeah.
as well.
Well, yeah, as well.
Amy _ SIO _ Knox, shout out you. Went all the way to America to see All Time Low.
Big.
Kaylee Celeste drove 8 hours straight for Lincoln Park and 30 Seconds to Mars with AFI, made it to Chicago, drove to Indiana to stay at a hotel, then drove 7 hours back and took a final the next day. Legend. Brie Monster spent 26 hours on a plane and 5 hours on a train to go and see a band that certainly isn't embarrassing and certainly isn't Tokyo Hotel.
26 hours on a plane.
Yeah. What?
I mean, I love bands, but there's got to be somewhere closer.
I mean, like, it's Tokyo Hotel.
Well, yeah.
Like, I don't know why she's embarrassed about that. Like, Sick band. Shout out 2007.
Yeah. Monsoon, right?
That was the one.
Yeah.
That was the one.
That is a banger, yeah.
Kirby went New York to London to see Fall Out Boy, and she's going to see them in Chicago in September. She also queued for 15 hours to see them in Brixton.
And there you were, Jack, just swanning in after work.
Yeah. I queued for 2 minutes. Youbes 3 took a plane for the first time from Madagascar to Singapore. That's 4,000 miles, sports fans, to see the legendary 1OK Rock last January. Hella worth it. Checked more than one box on the bucket list for that. They were breathtaking. I mean, like,
The commitment on some of you guys
is
insane.
This is eye-opening, yeah.
And then, I mean, like, share this trip with all us. The Pixel Must Die invented time travel, went back to Warped 2004 and stalked My Chem the entire time.
Sure.
I mean,
Okay.
I feel as though, right, I don't think that actually happened. It's like, just so you know, yeah, legends. You're all heroes. Will?
Sick. Yeah, this episode's a bit mental, isn't it? Right, new issue. We got 1 week left on the Nothing Nowhere issue that is currently on sale at shop.roxanne.tv. Yeah, the Reaper bundle still available. If you want to check that out, absolutely amazing. Limited edition cover, exclusive hand signed print, enamel pin premium patch, vinyl stickers, limited edition art prints. Absolutely amazing. Free worldwide shipping. Obviously, over the past few weeks, we've chatted loads about Nothing Nowhere and how it's been amazing to launch his first ever magazine cover. So, yeah, 1 week left until we launch our brand new issue, but it's been absolutely incredible to be a part of. And, yeah, shop.roxanne.tv if you still want to get involved. Absolutely brilliant stuff. It also includes a Slam Dunk poster special featuring State Champs and Good Charlotte and Knucklepuck in Paris and so many more. Shots of Paramore and Fall Out Boy's recent London shows. All sorts of stuff. Really, really brilliant. Shop.roxanne.tv. Spotify playlist as well. Updated Rock Sound chart. Who's number one at the moment?
Still Black Art by Nothing Nowhere.
Yes, it is. Yeah, awesome stuff. Scud's TV show is also on daily on Scuds if you want to check out all the new tunes by the bands in the magazine. And as we always say as well, loads going on our website, rocksound.tv, so get involved with that. Interview 2. So Mallory Knox, so shock news this week that Mikey Chapman has left the band. Kind of like came out of nowhere. I mean, Mallory have been quiet as of recently, and obviously we know the reasons now. And as you're going to hear with Sam in a second, but like, yeah, pretty shocking, I think. So news came out Wednesday morning. Got on the phone with Sam straight away, and he opened up about literally everything what's been going on for the past 6 months. New music that's come in, and everything about Mikey's departure. Really, really surprising. Honest stuff. Here we go. Sam Douglas stepping up as frontman in Mallory Knox and Mikey Chapman's departure. When did the decision kind of come about? Like, when did what in time frame? Like, when did this sort of start to take place?
I think just after we recorded Wired, so it would have been around April last year. Mikey kind of, come to us with a conversation at rehearsal one day, saying that he just didn't, feel as good about things as he potentially used to. I don't want to go into the detail of his full reasoning because, some things are better kept between, as friends as we were. So it wasn't until we got to we did 2 European tours, one with Enter Shikari and then Simple Plan, and there was a month between the two. And in that, we said that we'd have a meeting in between those, because Mikey basically said that he was going to have 4 or 5 months back in April that, just to basically keep going at it and see how he was. And then we'd reconvene in 4 or 5 months' time. So we were always aware he wasn't, as happy as he could be. And then when it got to after the Enter Shikari tour, I thought, a lot more positive. So I kind of put it to the back of my mind. Like I thought, well, he's gone through that now. He's all right. Like I was in a band with him for fucking 9 years. I can tell when he's feeling good and when he's not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I kind of did the Shikari tour thinking, you know what, we're going to be all right. And then 2 days before the Simple Plan tour, I think it was James or Joe, someone brought it up saying, look, we haven't got an answer out of Mikey yet. We don't want to keep kind of hanging 50-50. So we organised a meeting, which was down a local pub in Ely. And this was a couple of days before the Simple Plan tour. And this is where he said that he was going to be properly leaving the band at the end of this tour of the end of the album campaign for Wired. So, and I remember being pretty blown away by that, because as I said, I'd convinced myself almost that he was staying because he hadn't said anything for 4 or 5 months, even though I was aware. But as I said, he just seemed a lot better in himself, but obviously he still had the same reasons for wanting to go. So that was really the timeline of it. So since he said that he wanted to go before the Simple Plan tour, we were like, well, that's the thing. That's where it all gets funny, because I can't really remember what happened. The last 6 months of I could carry on talking, you know what I mean? So I kind of let you say something because I realised I've just spoke for 5 minutes.
No, not at all, man. I'm really sorry to hear it. Did it? So even though obviously, like you say, there were those sort of initial, he was struggling a bit earlier on. It was still a real shock then because it seemed like things were going to straighten out.
Only because I'd convinced myself that it was going to be all right. If you were to speak to Joe or James, they always kind of felt that he was going to be leaving, so they kind of took it in their stride when he told us. But that was a thing, I think with Joe and James, because they knew it was coming, they were ready to crack on straight away, fucking start writing songs just to see what was happening. Because whereas for me, it took me a good couple of weeks to kind of get my head around it, where I had to think about, is this something I want to carry on doing? Because, that's the complete fucking game changer. And so I kind of had to go from there and think about what I wanted to do. But after a couple of weeks of thinking about it, I didn't really want to have to stop, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's in terms of knowing, that's when. It was all through basically the whole of last year. It was just a complete fucking, it was just mental, really.
Yeah, was that hard to have to go through as well?
Yeah, just because I remember there's just so much uncertainty at that point. After when Mikey obviously made his decision that music wasn't the path he wanted to take anymore, we were at a crossroads, and Mikey, give him his credit, said that he would stick out for the remainder of the album campaign. He didn't want to just leave us in the lurch, and that's, that's the kind of person he is. He still cares about us as people, and, as do I him, even though we haven't spoke for a while. It's just because you've got to let the dust settle, I guess, But he, what was I saying? Sorry, yeah. So we were at a crossroads, and I remember being in Paris on the Simple Plan tour, and our management came out and wanted to have a word, just come out on the show, see how we were going, and then talk about plans for the next record. I remember at that point looking at the rest of the guys going, I can't fucking sit here and listen to him talk 15, 20 minutes about all these exciting new plans they've got. And because I feel like I was lying to him. So I kind of text the guys under the table, Mikey included, saying I'm going to have to tell them.
Yeah.
So we always had a plan to tell our management at the end of the tour, but we were kind of pushed into it that way. And I just remember, that was a really weird 5 minutes, it is what it is.
Yeah, as I say, man, it sounds really, really bloody difficult. How's the recovery process been since then? Because obviously you say that you guys have kind of had a bit of time away, and I know obviously the four of you have been doing a lot behind the scenes. And how's that process been? Has it been? You're saying it's been a really weird time. Has it been positive as well in that you've been putting new music down and kind of rebuilding, I guess, as well?
Yeah, like as I say, once we were kind of certain that Mikey was going and we spoke to management, they kind of made it clear that they still like backed us. You know, the one worry was like when you lose your singer in your face, like of course you fucking doubt if you can still carry on. I don't think we'd be lying if like any four of us like didn't have that thought for a day or two, you know. But when management said, "I fucking get behind you, get writing some tunes," that's what we did. Like it was never a go right. Sam's singing, we're going to write songs as four-piece. That wasn't it. We just said like we're going to fucking write some songs, see how they sound, and go from there. And that's what we've done. The whole rebuilding process was we've been writing songs since fucking July time, August time as a four-piece, and then it wasn't really until October, November that, because people kept mentioning you should sing it, and I never wanted to do that. I was really happy with my role in the band of being kind of in the back, like, you know, singing my little parts and focusing on songwriting, and I never once anticipated having to be the front guy. I've never wanted that, and to be honest, I mean, it is what it is now. That's how it's going to be, because, you know, this is the thing, like, I've had so long to think about it, and everything's been so good behind the scenes the last 5 or 6 months because we really believe in what we're crafting. But when you announce it like today and people come at it at a fresh angle, it kind of puts you back in to that really raw emotional state again, if that makes sense, you know, like seeing all these comments, like fans are like, you know, crying, and there's some people going, "You guys are still going to be great," and then there's some people saying, you know, fucking Mikey was the face, he was the voice, which he was, you know. Yeah. But I know these new tunes, I know what they sound like. They haven't heard them yet, so it's one of them things like people going, "Should Sam be good?" I saw someone today say, Sam can't do it live. It's not going to work. And I would say I agree. Sometimes I couldn't sing live, but because that's how I was going fucking mental. I was jumping around. I was spinning around. I was running from side to side. My role now changes. I was doing so much energetical stuff live that, like, energetical, that's not even a fucking word, is it? I was doing so much stuff like live, bouncing around, interacting, jumping around, like that. I almost forgot it was my turn to sing. So by the time I came to sing, I was out of breath and I could barely do it. Now I've got to be more composed. Like, people don't know if I'm going to be able to do this live. I know what I sound like in a rehearsal room. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to have to change my role completely, and I'm willing to adapt to that. But it just it gives you that little bit of not anger. That's not the right word. But when you see comments like that again, you're literally judging me on what I used to do, and my role is so different now. Do you know what I mean? But that's only one comment, but there's some comments that just stick at you a little bit more than others. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, man, for sure. I mean, does that give you a bit of fire as well to kind of prove these people wrong as well? Because, you know, I mean, you look at like a band like Def and Vanna, you know, when Jamesy had to step up in a similar situation and has done so well from then. You know, does that give you a real fire in that, and that she's like, you can prove these people wrong?
Well, I went to the Don Broco show in London last week, and Jamesy was there. And I had a long chat with him about all this, because obviously I knew that this happened to him a few years ago. But the difference was he was basically taking up a full-time role. He was the singer anyway. I mean, they had Ryan, who was a screamer, right? So I am filling into a singer's like position. But, you know, yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking pointers of stuff like James, you know, because he's been there, he's done it. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, he said to me, like, sometimes it's really hard for him to feel comfortable being a front man. And I'm sure it's going to be the same for me. I wasn't built this way, like. But I'm going to give it a fucking good go, man, and because I believe in what we're doing, and I enjoy singing these songs that we're writing now. And we've played through some of the old stuff, and yeah, it's never going to be the same because I don't have the same voice as Mikey, but it's still the same musicians, it's still the same band, it's just a different voice. But the songs that we're playing from our back catalogue still sound. I still think they sound good. Like, yes, some people are going to miss Mikey's voice and stuff, but these new songs, as we go throughout the year, and the more we write and the more we release, slowly we can start integrating these new songs in, and hopefully Mallory Knox will take on a whole new identity in itself, you know?
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, I can't wait to hear them. And I mean, as well, you know, is it the songs themselves, these new tunes, that kind of really motivated you to carry on beyond this? I mean, like, was there ever a point where you were like, oh, you know, like, can we face going on? Was there ever a point where it got like that, or were you just like, no, we are absolutely doing this?
No, I definitely had a few weeks where I was like, I can't do this. I definitely had a few weeks. Like, I think Joe, James and Dave have always been like, fuck it, let's go. But I definitely had my doubts. Once you start writing, though, because I always say, like, I don't always say, I've said it once because I've only done one interview prior to this. I said, I can't think of anything more heartbreaking for me than writing songs that I fucking love and being lucky enough for 9 years to put them out on a platform for people to hear, that then I'm still writing songs for the next however many years and no one's ever going to hear them. And I think they're the best thing I've ever done. So that really was my inspiration to carry on. Because once I started hearing what we were coming out with, it was just like, wouldn't it be a fucking shame if no one ever hears this? Like, it's really good. And it's not the same. You're not going to get Shout at the Moon, Lighthouse Part 2. But no one wants to hear that song anyway again, like we've done it. Like, that's the thing. When you get in the mindset of going, these songs are like their own entity. It's just, we never had a discussion about starting a brand new band. Like, there's no way. We've built up 9 years of hard work. Why should we have to stop it? It's our decision. Like, I know people, like, obviously were attached to Mikey and stuff, but, you know, this is our band as well. And we were always like, we're still proud and love the songs that we had. And once you got past them little barriers, as I say, it was only a couple of weeks, then it really felt like a no-brainer to just carry on.
Definitely, yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. And I mean, as well, you know, with the new stuff that you've got down, I mean, is it you're saying, you know, it's a new sound? I mean, how different is it going to be? Is it going to be almost like a restart in a sort of way in terms of the sound?
I guess so. I think with Wired we started to show that progression anyway. Like, there's songs on that record we wouldn't have written on Asymmetry and Signals, for example, but there was always still little subtle hints to what we'd done before. But I guess, like, Mikey's voice was one of them things that kind of kept it all together. So this way, it's me singing now. That makes it fucking 50% different anyway. But these songs, yeah, like with Wired, I feel like we were a confused band because we didn't really have a point to anything. We were just writing songs that sounded great, and then we shoved them on a record, and that's fine. But this time round, we want the record to sound like a record, if that makes sense. We don't want the songs to sound like it could be on two different records. We want this album to be the first Mallory Knox album that has a point to it. We know what we want to write, and we're going to do it because we've written songs this time around that we think are amazing, but it doesn't fit into what we're doing, and we've put them like on the we've tossed them away, and we've never done that before. Like with Wired, for example, we had stuff like Better Off Without You, and then a song like For You. I love both those songs, but on a record, it feels like they don't work, and that's something we want to avoid this time. So even though there's songs, as I said, that we love, we're so focused on going in for a certain sound, and I think that's made us more focused. Therefore, we do have a certain sound this time around, which I think is exciting because we've never thought like that before.
Definitely, no, that is really exciting. So, I mean, like, taking Wired as well, I mean, especially, like, when compared to this new stuff, I mean, how do you feel about the album now, especially as, like, the kind of last piece that you did as the original incarnation of the band? Like, are you still proud of it, or is it something that, like you say, with these new songs, you are kind of happy that you're being able to make these kind of, these changes, essentially?
I'm proud of Wired, but I do look back on that record with some form of regret. But that's only from a personal perspective. It's not a Mallory Knox thing. It's just for me as a songwriter. I know if I can't put my hand on my heart and say that I tried my best with that record. I think I was complacent and I was almost lazy with my writing. Instead of finishing a song, I'd stop at the first verse, and if I couldn't find a chorus within a day, I wouldn't bother, and we'd have to figure out a band practice. You know, it's just my mentality was all wrong. I wasn't feeling very happy within myself on that record. You know, I had anxiety issues and stuff, which I still have now. But the thing is, having lived with that for years, you find a way to control it and stuff. So that aside, Wired was a real learning curve for me personally and professionally. There's some of our best songs on that record. Saviour, Wired for me is one of our best, but yeah, it almost sounds like an incomplete record, and that has made me even more hungry to make sure that doesn't happen again for new Mallory.
Amazing.
To make sure that I don't look back on what we're doing now with any form of regret, especially taking in the situation with Mikey leaving. So add that all together. Yeah, the drive and the hunger is really real, because we can't predict what's going to happen for the next 2 years. That you can't. Like, today proves that with seeing what everyone has to say. All we can do is just write the best fucking songs we can, and we have, and then it's out of our hands. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I mean, because I noticed, with all the announcements today and everything as well, you tweeted that, you're not quite ready to stop yet, I mean, by that, is that what you mean, in the sense that you just cannot predict the stuff, especially in this industry where everything is so, from every angle, everything is so, fast moving and yeah.
It's fucking horrible, man. Like, people on the internet, like, honestly, it is. Like, people have opinions about stuff they don't even fucking know about, and they say something just for the sake of getting a couple of retweets. That's my fucking tree, and just does. But I mean, and that sends me around the twist. Like, that was half the reason that that's half the reason I fucking hated being in a band at one point, because it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're slagging us off, and it's fine, have your opinion, but it's just like, you don't know. But I guess that's part and parcel of being in the position we're in, so I have to accept that. But yeah, I mean, as I said, the announcement was at 9 a.m. this morning, and I sat there for an hour, and I was just kind of shell-shocked, because I've had 6 months to take this information in. And within a whole 2 minutes of us announcing everything and seeing the reaction, because it's been so quiet for us, we've basically had a blackout on the internet and blackout in shows. We haven't done anything. And within 2 minutes, it just floored me. And I was just sitting there going, I have no idea what to say now, because it made it all very emotional and raw again. And you forget that even though you've known for 6 months, this is brand new information for people, and some of them are sad. I don't think anyone's happy. I think the only thing people that are happy about is that we haven't, like, there's a lot of people saying that they're happy that we haven't decided to quit completely, This isn't a choice that we wanted. We never wanted Mikey to leave. I never wanted Mikey to leave. I toured with that guy I didn't just tour with him, like, I lived with him at times. Like, I travelled the world with him. I didn't want him to leave. I've told him that. But when someone wants to do something, you can't trap them. You have to let them go. Even you try and explain to him how it can be different, but it's shit. It is what it is. It's not what we wanted, but this is the cards we were dealt with, and we're just going to fucking do the best that we can with what we've got. That's literally all I can say,
Yeah, man. No. I'm sorry to hear it, but that sounds awesome. I mean, especially with the new stuff coming up. I mean, you mentioned that, you're letting the dust settle and everything. I mean, have you spoken to Mike? Has he, like, heard any of the new material, or are you guys just spending a bit of time apart for the time being?
Obviously, he told us last summer, and we had to still do some shows. We did Reading and Leeds. We did a show in Manchester, So even though we knew it was a permanent thing, we still had to tour and play shows together. So yeah, we were talking. Then when it got to the bullshit part that no one wants to do, which is, figures and sums that need to be sorted out, contracts need to be signed, all the bullshit part, gets a bit, it's just not nice, is it?
Yeah.
So you take that, I've saw Mikey in, I think, December out in Ely, just at a pub, and we were fine. But no, I'd be lying if I said I haven't spoke to him properly in about 3 months, because we just haven't. But I think that doesn't mean we're not mates. Like, thing is with Mikey, like, he is, the thing that's made it clear today, like, I felt certain ways about it, but when you look back and you see the reactions that you've had on people, we created that together, and we experienced all of this shit together. And no matter what happens, we will always have that. And I will only ever, I guess, love him for that. And there will be a time, I have no doubt, when me and Mikey see each other again in Ely, because it's a fucking tiny place. But it is what it is now. Mallory Knox was our common ground. You take that away, we are very different people at the same time. He has interests that he wants to pursue. I have interests that I want to pursue, Mallory being one of them. And I guess we're just going to go our own ways for a bit. But that doesn't mean that I think badly of him. Yes, I was frustrated. Who wouldn't be? Like, you're living the dream with him, and he was as well. But I can't hate him for not wanting to do it, because I don't. And I can't blame him for wanting to do something else. That's his decision. But that doesn't mean I couldn't not be frustrated by it. You know, it's just a really weird thing. And I'm rambling. It's probably a bad thing.
No, man, no, I totally understand what you're saying. I mean, I guess, like, to finish up, like, so just in terms of the new music coming after everything you've told me today, and I mean, you're just going to see how things go then, you know, like, you're really proud of these new songs, and it's just all about seeing how the year goes. You've got the tour coming up, and just see how it goes, basically.
Yeah, man, like, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but we've got new music coming very fucking soon.
Cool.
Soon. That was a priority. We didn't want to let this just linger. You know what I mean? And then give everyone this shit news and then not do anything for a couple of months. You know, we planned this. We knew it was going to be bumpy. Let people digest it and then kind of hit them with something hopefully that they really enjoy soon. But yeah, it's basically, we've got this tour booked in April. We've got some festivals coming up and being announced. I know our booking agent's working hard behind the scenes to try and fill our summer festival calendar. We'll have to see what happens there. And we're just going to go at it, mate. And it's literally just, it's almost like starting again. When we were with Asymmetry and Wide, you know, we were signed to a record deal with Sony. And you have a plan laid out almost for the next 4 years. Album here, album there, single here, tour here. This time, clean slate. And that's how it is. Like, I can't tell you where Mallory will be this time next year, but that's terrifying / exciting. So we just got to go with it, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to carry on writing as much as we can. From now, we have been anyway. We haven't stopped writing since, as I say, September last year, kind of. And that's us, man. That's all we can do. So hopefully, it will have a happy ending in the end.
Jack, I'm going to throw this out to you first. What do you think?
Interesting is my diagnosis. I couldn't think of that word for a minute because I'm not a doctor. Yeah, it seemed really, because it was a shock. Like, more than anything, when it popped up at 9 o'clock, like in the morning, and it's like, oh, Sam's singing now. Mikey's gone. We've announced some tour dates. Like, here you go, and you kind of go, what? But when you hear Sam talking, it sounds like it's not been an easy time for the bands. He sounds quite uncertain about a lot of things, and he sounds a bit worried and scared, because I don't think they were expecting to be in this position in 2018. Like, Wired came out last year, like they'd just like kicked off like another new kind of chapter with the release of Sugar and the singles last summer. And everything was like moving along, like it was really exciting for the band, and now this is another shift. So there's the uncertainty, but also the big one as well is like, which question him on, it's like the stepping up, because it's like before, like, because you compare them to like Death Havana and there's We Are the Ocean, of course, like two bands who both lost a singer but then like still thrived within the scene, and in a lot of cases like grew in stature. But this is Sam stepping up as like a solo vocalist. Like, it's a big challenge, but you can hear when you asked him that, like, there's a real determination. He wants to prove people wrong. Like, it must be so hard reading like comments as well when you've made a decision like this, and like sitting there scrolling through people, not knowing, not filtering their opinions, like just saying whatever's on their mind there, and you're just sat there going, well, we're trying. And I feel as that he's really, there is a fire there. Like, there's a certain determination, which it kind of shifted in that chat. Like, suddenly he was like, yeah, like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna like fight through whatever we have to now, and we're gonna prove all these people wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there was a real shift, you know, because I think, like he said, it was he's had all this time to take it in and kind of digest it, and now, you know, it's kind of opened up and it's quite raw again by the news actually being officially announced. So I think, but you think you're right. I think by the sort of end of the chat, he was, like you say, kind of, I'm going to prove these people wrong, and commented on the internet. You know, I'm really, really proud of these new songs that we've written.
There's the other thing as well, which is really interesting, that he said that. He said he understood like people like devotion to Mikey, because like he's been a figurehead, he's been someone who like he's been the voice of the band for so long. But he just went, this is our band as well. Yeah, which I think is such, like, you don't hear that sort of thing where it's just like it's a band who are going, no, this is ours as well. Like, this isn't the end of the band. Like, we're still passionate about this. We've still got that drive. We're still writing music. We're producing some of the stuff we're proudest of. Yeah, like, and we've done this and we're carrying on. Like, don't mourn like this little part of our history now. Like, there's so much more that we're offering, and that we've been a part of this journey as well. Like, it's kind of like in going, like, there's a real bite to that. Like, it's you don't hear bands really speaking up in that way, like Sam did there.
Yeah, definitely, which is really, really cool. I think, Tamsin, you know Sam personally, right?
I've interviewed him a few times, and I know Savins from the bands. Like, we've hung out a bit, and they're all really nice guys. They are genuine, lovely guys. I think everyone was shocked when they saw the news this morning, because it's, you know, like, bands take their quiet time out, but you just kind of presume they're recording, or
you assume everything's fine.
Yeah. You know, you never really know what is going on. And having, you know, he said he's been in a band with Mikey for 9 years. That's a long time to spend, like, almost every day with the same people, trying to fulfill this dream that you're also attached to. And, like, I'm, you know, Sam didn't want to go into too much detail, but I'm sure we can all, like, understand Mikey's reasons for leaving, and, like, fair play to him to also for being like, it's quite a brave decision to be like, I'm gonna have to go, otherwise things could have just gotten worse and worse and worse. Yeah. And, you know, it could have, you know, they wouldn't be friends, and it's a really, really big decision for Mikey to make. So fair play to him for, you know, for doing it. And I know Sam's he's quite nervous about becoming a frontman. Like, it's not what he was really put there to do, but, you know, he's definitely going to give it his best shot, and I think that's all we can ask of him. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant, but I thought, going on from all the comments about, you know, seeing what people have been writing on the internet, and, you know, he picked out that one particular comment where someone was like, Sam can't do it live, and it's like, I understand that people are going to have their opinions, people are going to be shocked, and they're going to be surprised by the fact that Mikey's decided to leave. But you are not a fan of that band if you are freely commenting things, such negative things, because you've got to remember that, like, the bands are people and they're human. Sam, as he has mentioned, suffers quite badly from anxiety issues. That was a big thing with the Wired record. And he said, you know, it's all still quite emotional, it's all quite raw, and going online and seeing comments like, Sam's not going to be able to do it, Sam's not going to be able to step up, it's not going to be the same without Mikey, they're not going to go anywhere without Mikey, like, it's so hard for them already to do it. And I'm like, fair play to have your opinions, but sometimes you just need to shut up. Like,
yeah.
This stems to, like, much further than Mallory Knox, you know, with even just like going into bloggers and stuff like that. I know so many people that are just like, they get backhanded compliments where it's like, oh, I really like how you did this, but how you've done this, no, it's not very good, you shouldn't do that. And it's just like, give the guys a break.
Yeah.
Like, and as he said, we haven't heard the new music. We don't know how they're going to perform live together. They're going to be working so hard to make this band, you know, stick together and to work and to give back to the fans that have stuck by them, like, for the past 10 years. So if you're sat there going, oh, well, because Mikey's not in it anymore, I don't think Sam's going to do very well. And it's just like, who are you? Who are you? Sit down, shut up, and wait for, like, cast your opinions maybe when you have seen them live, when you have heard the music, and be like, oh, you know, I did prefer it with Mikey. This isn't really my thing, what they're doing now, but fair play for them for trying. That's the thought process I feel like fans of bands should have, and it really frustrates me when I see people being like, oh, it's going to be shit because so-and-so's left. No, it's not.
Be respectful.
I mean,
yeah.
You know,
if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell it annoyed you so much.
It's off my chest now, but, like, just, like, you know, listening to that interview, Sam was so emotional about it throughout, and they've clearly had a really difficult time with all of this, and, you know, they haven't lost a friend, but they've lost that closeness with a person they've spent 10 years of their life with. Like, it's just like being in a relationship. Like they're
Yeah,
going to be
it's difficult.
really, there's going to be a lot of emotion there, and I just feel like people need to kind of respect that more.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, Jack, do you agree?
Yeah, straight up. I'm just saying it's good luck to the lads. Like they'll I know whatever is going to happen, that they're going to push through to like the absolute limit of what they can, like until if it's not going right for them, like within a year, like I'm sure they'll find out what to do. It could be another 5 years, it could be 10 years, we don't know. And that's the exciting thing about it as well. Like it's a new beginning, new chapter, new era, as the kids say. So yeah, good luck.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can't wait to hear the new tunes as well. So as you say, Sam's saying they're coming very, very soon. We don't know when, but fingers crossed they're going to be banging, because I'm sure they're going to be total bangers. So yeah, big shout out to Mallory Knox and Sam, and we wish them the absolute best of luck with everything going forward. So we're coming to an end. Follow us on SoundCloud, subscribe to us on iTunes. Just a reminder that we are launching our brand new issue a week today, but our Nothing Nowhere cover is very much on sale at shop.rocksound.tv, and the Reaper bundle is still available. So if you're into, obviously we've had an amazing month of everything to do with Nothing Nowhere. Joe, been absolutely insane. So if you want to get involved with that still, get involved, shop.rocksound.tv. And as I say, Black Heart is number 1 in the Rock Sound chart at the moment. Loads and loads of ways to get involved with Joe and what he's doing. Also being announced for Reading and Leeds this week. So yeah, amazing stuff. So that's available, shop.rocksound.tv. And check us out on our website, rocksound.tv. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And it's been good. You guys enjoyed it?
It's been emotional.
It's been nice to be back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I didn't cough or throw up, which is nice.
There's
But I
not
coughed a
a
little
lot of
bit.
Oh, gang's back.
Yeah.
It's been quite off the wall and emotional at the same time.
The best way to live our lives.
That's like my Tinder bio.
Bloody hell.
And on that note,
it has been fun. We will see. I don't know what to say anymore.
see you next week.
See you next week.
Love you, bye.
Bye.